Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's football show here on STV. The main talking points on tonight's programme. Scott Sinclair, the Celtic winger, says he hopes to be involved in a future England squad. The Scottish FA Vice President Rod Petrie has defended Gordon Strachan. And Alex Smith reckons Celtic and Rangers should look to buy smaller clubs in a bid to give some of their stars regular competitive football. That's just a few of the topics we'll be discussing on tonight's programme. Alan Ruff is alongside me, Peter Martin. I'm delighted to say we have Phil McTaggart, an agent for Viola FC. We'll get his take on all things from an agent's perspective, maybe even the standard of the players here in Scotland and the deals that are made and brokered elsewhere across the globe. We'll also be looking at the average salaries that's been released in Scotland for all 12 Premier League clubs, and of course we'll equate that to their position in the league. So lots to talk about. Scott Sinclair's been having a chat today ahead of their game on Friday, Ruffy, against Kilmarnock. He says he hopes to be involved in future England squads. I would suggest that regular football and playing Champions League football might get him noticed.
Yeah, I think he's done tremendously well since he's been up here. I think he's been a breath of fresh air at Celtic. I personally think that for him to get into an England squad, I think he would have to be playing in England with a reasonably top club. I know European football puts him in the limelight, but I don't think it'd be enough to get him into an England squad. Yeah,
Phil, sometimes players look to kickstart their career again by coming to Scotland as an option, albeit a short-term one. I mean, I'm looking at Moussa Dembele scoring 2 for France under-21s against England, and a couple of spectacular goals. Suddenly, when you start doing that at international level, albeit under-21s and Celtic, you get noticed.
Yep, absolutely. And that's what obviously a player's there to do. They're there just to do their job, and the higher level they're playing at, the more chance of success in their own career, whether it's by winning trophies or if their game is to earn as much money in the game, then that's what they need to do. So Celtic can obviously, France in particular, such a high level competition, so I don't think it'll be long before something's mentioned about him, to be honest. And I think at Celtic will have a big say in it obviously as well. They'll be in control of that. And we've probably had already people talk to him just now, I think.
Interestingly enough, Phil, Moussa Dembele's agent looked at the whole situation and said, you could sign for another Premier League club in England, right, and maybe sit on the bench and get on, periodically, or you could go to Celtic and really put yourself in the shop window. Is that something that you have advised players to do before?
Absolutely. Obviously, being Scotland born and bred, we know the standard of what's here. Obviously it's nowhere near the football standard as in England, but the profile that comes with playing with the old firm in particular, it's a global reach, so much so the attraction of the players that have came here this year. So absolutely, if somebody's going to come to Scotland and play for your Rangers or Celtic, play week in, week out, get the accolades that they deserve, get the trophies, win the trophies, they become heroes overnight. Ultimately when they make that next move, that's when they've got to really have a think about it, because they have these teams clambering for them and sometimes they maybe pick the wrong one, But I think a lot of guys should just enjoy it while they're here. Enjoy it, Celtic, enjoy Rangers or whatever they're doing, whatever clubs, because a lot of the guys that do it when they leave, they do have regrets, They do think that was excellent, why did I move on, because they're getting big salaries here, they're getting the accolades, so I would definitely promote it. I have done in the past and I would still promote it in the future.
Obviously Dembele came up here for, what was it, £500,000, and we all know, and it looks like what he is going to be a £12 million plus. Be interesting to see what's in his contract. Could you give us an idea of what kind of things he'll have written into his?
Well, normally, I think Celtic got him so cheaply because it was because of his age and because it was cross-border first and foremost. I think if he went anywhere else in England, it would have been a lot more. But standard things in contracts are things like the salaries, obviously mixed in with the appearance money, mixed in with the signing on bonuses, the relocation as such, X amount of that's tax free. Sometimes you get loyalty payments, believe it or not. I mean, after X amount of years, if you're still there, and you get paid,
Is the biggest one possibly what his sell-on value is?
Well, possibly. He might be coming up here thinking if it's a stepping stone for a year, then he moves on for 12 million, like a lot of the guys at Celtic have done. I mean, I wouldn't be thinking that he's no thought about that, but I don't think he'll be coming up to Celtic thinking, I'll go up there, get a stepping stone, do this because I've got 5, 10, 15, whatever % as a sell-on. I think he's come up here, he's been sold it by the manager, sold it by the chief executive, no doubt, and to be fair, it's hard to knock back a club like Celtic, you know, so fair play to him, and he's done well, and this is why we're talking about him just now.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, when you look at the figures that were released, I mean, it just dwarfs what's on offer down in the English Premier League. We are minute by comparison. Here's the average salary of the clubs that's been released, and as you can see, Celtic, it was trumpeted this morning that Celtic playing double what some of the Rangers players are on at the moment. And as you look at them all, I'm looking at that table, and only Inverness, Cali, Hearts and Celtic are in the positions of spend comparative to their league position as well, Ruffy. I'm sure it will change as we go on. I mean, Hamilton are defying everyone, and they're certainly not sitting at the bottom of the Premier League, but when you look at those salaries, that's all well and good. I think we've been stung in our country by overspending, you know, spending more than the clubs are bringing in, getting into massive debt. Fine, you know, clubs paying a certain amount of money, providing they're taking that in now. You have to be prudent, to say the least.
Well, I think anybody who watches our show, and any of the managers we have, whether it's Alan Archibald or Mark McGee, any manager in that Premier, the first thing that they always mention is their budget and what they have to work with and what they have to work accordingly with. And I think they're just trying to get the fans to realise how difficult it is to challenge the likes of Rangers and Celtic, and obviously Aberdeen with the salaries that they're on. So I think the fans have got to buy into it as well, that when the club are out looking for players, that's the kind of players that the wage bracket they're at, and that's why they are where they are.
Yeah, I mean, it's changed over the years. You guys, you know, yourself and John Viola have operated for a long time in Scotland, but the agents game has changed dramatically. I mean, apart from anything else, FIFA, it's not so much that they deregulated it, but it looks as if it's a free-for-all now for agents.
No, that is the word. Deregulation is the word. A year and a half ago, I think it was the 1st of April 2015, they basically just made a decision, each member association, take them on yourselves, deal with them yourselves, and each member association, when I say like the SFA, English FA, have their own ways of operating now. So really, to the man in the street, anybody can become an agent, but that doesn't necessarily mean they know how to do the job. So it's quite important that these guys who do come into the fore learn quickly what's going on, you know. But as I said, I think the English FA charge a fee to become an agent, but still it gives the people the opportunity to do that. Yeah,
I'm going to talk to you more, Phil, a little later on about you know, opportunities for people to become an agent and obviously a long-term career very shortly. Just before we hit the break, Ruffy, what did you make of Alex Smith's comments that maybe you know, Scottish clubs, the likes of Celtic and Rangers, should be looking to buy smaller clubs, make them feeder clubs, give them a chance to play some of the players? I mean, I looked at my biggest bugbear in the last couple of years was Scott Allen. Basically, you know, a sensation for Hibs, albeit in a lower division. Never kicked a ball for Celtic. You know, there's Gary Mackay-Steven kicking his heels there as well. There'll be lots of Scottish players that may well, you know, become better players just by playing regular competitive football.
Yeah, I get where Alex coming from. I think the first thing he would come up against would be the history of the clubs that you're trying to buy. You know, okay, they might be wee clubs, they might not have a big support, but they certainly do have a history. And I think anything that's come up that way, that's been the fight against it. I prefer the idea, you know, the B teams in the lower leagues, and I think the point he made is great. If Rangers or Celtic go up to Aberdeen, there's only about maybe 7,000 or 8,000. There's another 40,000 supporters left back home here in Glasgow, you know, and surely I'm sure some of them, or a lot of them, would like to go and see a Celtic or a B team down in the lower leagues.
And again, when you think of the average attendances, and I'm looking right now at Celtic, Rangers, Hearts, Aberdeen, Dundee, no surprise in the top end. I mean, when you think about what Celtic and Rangers B teams would attract if Celtic and Rangers, the first team, is away up in the Highlands.
Absolutely. I actually remember going to a few reserve games that used to be back when it was Rangers and Celtic reserves at Ibrox and different things, and the crowds that used to turn up just to watch the second string, you know, it was always quite exciting as well to see who was coming through. But obviously they've tried these things with bringing in the under-20s and X amount of players being able to play over age and stuff, but maybe the excitement factor's not there, and maybe there's not enough players cutting on as well, you know. So definitely like a B team or a reserve thing like they do in Spain as well, it gives that wee bit of excitement that can go along with it, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, coming up after the break, we'll be talking about the SFA Vice President Rod Petrie. He was on the steps of Hampden defending Gordon Strachan. There's more than a few people all linked with his job. He's in the job. Some of us think he should go, some of us think he should stay as well. It's all about opinions when it comes to the Scotland manager's future. We'll talk about that after the break with our agent in here as our bookroom guest, Phil McTaggart. Welcome back to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show here on STV. Alan Ruff is alongside me, Peter Martin. Our bookroom guest today is agent Phil McTaggart from Viola FC. Delighted to have Phil with us. Of course, agents never too far away from getting it in the neck, Ruffy, when it's big deals. They're not all big deals, I have to suggest to you, but I suppose it's great when you get a situation, Phil, when you've got Paul Pogba suddenly moving for one of the biggest fees in the world and a reported agent's fee of £20 million. Yep. It's nice if you're the agent getting that.
Of course, I suppose that's a dream for anybody in this business, you know. But to be honest, when you're at that level, that could have went to 25 million. It could have been 15 million. That's just a number at that point, you know. That's not based on percentages or based on anything. That's somebody just with control that can ultimately say he's not signing until such and such is in place, you know. So fair play to him. A lot of people, Mino Raiola, a lot of people are saying he's this and he's that, but he's in that position. The boys took the wages, he took his fee, and Man United have got the players. So in essence, 3 people have walked away happy. It's up to him now to do the business, you know. Yeah, absolutely. Slowly but surely, I think he's just winning them over, Ruffy. But over and above that, I mean, it just shows you, we were talking about the salaries and the average salaries of players in Scotland and how, completely overshadowed by, for example, Mesut Ozil today. I think the ink will be dry on a new deal of £200,000 a week, signed quicker than normal once the registered interest from Manchester United was put in the papers. I wonder how that could have got there, Ruffy.
Yeah, it's amazing, you know. That,
I thought you were going to say me there, sorry.
No, I'm sure Phil could tell us how that works. But certainly, if you've got a friend in the media, it can always help to just put a wee story in there just to push it along. Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, there's a story going on at the moment. It just won't go away, which is, of course, the future of the Scotland manager. The SFA will have a discussion. They'll probably have a discussion with Gordon Strachan. And as Gordon puts it himself, a debrief to work out where they're going, where he thinks he can still take Scotland. I think that conversation in itself will be very interesting, Ruffy. Rod Petrie was interviewed on the steps of Hampden today. He defended Gordon Strachan, thinks he's doing a good job, and obviously has mentioned the fact that the hierarchy are well aware of the difficulties that Scotland are facing and our game's facing, and trying to do everything within their powers to make it better. It's a long, painful road. I'm in the Gordon Strachan camp. I think he should stay. I think there's a lot of people jump on the bandwagon and say get rid of him. Here are the odds. Here are the latest odds, Ruffy, for people who potentially could be taking that job. Some bookies are jumping on it, some are not. Alex McLeish 4-1, Derek McInnes 6-1, David Moyes 6-1, Paul Lambert 8-1. I threw in Tommy Wright there at 20-1. I think there's at least 3, possibly 4 of them that could all have legitimate reasons for saying not a chance. I still think Gordon Strachan is the man to take us to the next game against Slovenia, which I would counter it by saying Slovenia is must win. Yeah, it is. I think they're all must wins, particularly when the 4 of them are at home. I think there is a certain number of points you need to get to that playoff position at something like 16 or 17. Yeah. We're sitting on 4 points just now, so most of them are all win games. But I would like to think that Gordon will take stock and go away. I don't think it'll be an SFA decision. I think if Gordon was to go into a meeting and he would get a vibe of what everybody's thinking, I think Gordon would walk. I hope he doesn't, I hope he sits in there, because I think I've been reading all the papers. Everybody's talking about Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland never did anything for longer than us. Yeah. I think when the manager went in there, he lost his first 16 games. And you would think if Gordon Strachan had lost 16 games, there would be a massive, cry for him to resign. But they held in there. They sized up the situation of where they were, where the players were, where they were playing, and they've got the benefit of it. And I think Wales have done that as well. Wales were struggling for a long, long time. So maybe it's just an era that we're in. We just need to bite the bullet. I know it's been going on a long time now, but I think if you take a step back, we are a better side than what we were. Yeah. We are playing better football. We are a better organised side. We just need to start winning games.
Yeah, I mean, I look at the candidates. I don't see somebody that could get anything better or more out of them. I mean, I've heard quotes saying even Sir Alex Ferguson couldn't do anything the squad. I sometimes think that's really unfair. If you're an international player, let's just say you're an international player, you're picking up the paper, Phil, you're watching this programme, you're watching other sports programmes and listening to the radio, you'd think you were the worst player on earth if you were playing for Scotland. So I don't want to suggest for a minute that the players are not good. That's just at levels where they can't get the results at the moment.
No, of course. And I think the game on Friday night showed that the chances we had at Wembley for a start was people were begging for one chance, let alone 3 or 4, and to miss them was obviously gut-wrenching, but they're no bad players. I mean, they're players playing at the right level. They're players playing at the Premiership level in England, Scotland, Championship in England. So this is where foreign players are wanting to come and play. So the guys are playing at the right level. Whether Gordon's picking the wrong team or whether it's the wrong formation or whatever it may be, I don't know if they would get much more out of the players that are there. But to be fair, I think there's, as Ruffy said, there's been massive development where we've been and where we're going. It's just a bit of a tentative time just now, so let's hope that they work it out. Whether it's Gordon himself saying, Keezy's, I've had enough, or whether it's somebody else pushing him, but that's why he's getting paid the so-called big bucks. He'll know what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah, I'm so glad you used that word. I haven't heard that since I was in the playground. Keezy's. It's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. I used to do that when we were 10-0 done.
Exactly. I'm out of here. No, I take your point. I genuinely don't think he will walk, and I think the SFA will stick with him on it. As far as the call for a complete clean slate on the SFA, that's not going to happen. There may well be individuals that in this country we're not happy with, but I just don't see a wipeout of it, and I don't think we need to constantly reevaluate, look for answers, start looking at other people and thinking Northern Ireland is the blueprint we should be following, Ruffy. I just think we've got to persevere and, maybe our luck will turn. It's a long time, it's a painful one, but sacking Gordon Strachan is not the answer for me right now.
No, not for me either. I look at the players and I look at them, the interviews they get. I know players aren't going to come out and slaughter the manager while they're there, but I think they're honest players. I think they're honest. They are enjoying the training, they're enjoying the setup, they're enjoying just meeting up, which is always a good thing. And I think they all got on well together. And I have to say, in certain moments of that England game, we were very organised, and we looked as if we were going to be hard to beat. But it's well said, when you get quality players who take the chances. Our problems are we don't have that striker. We haven't had that striker for 5 or 6 years, and defensively we just lose bad goals. These are the things we just need to sort out.
Just before we talk about what you're up to at the end of the month, Phil, which might interest people who might fancy the game of being an agent, just a quick story, Ruffy. San Marino have demanded an apology from Thomas Muller, who said that they were a team of amateurs. This is obviously after Germany thumped them, I think 8-0. And Karl-Heinz Rummenigge said San Marino has nothing to do with professional football. I always like to mention Karl-Heinz Rummenigge's name because I want everybody to remember that this is the guy who quite gleefully would have it by invitation only for the rich clubs, and to hell with everybody else.
No, I think everybody's got a right to play in a competition. I think every country that goes in there does their best, and if you go in and do your best, that's all you can ask. And I think it's just been the mighty just been that wee bit more powerful. Yeah. They should maybe they should just have put out their under-21 side then if they thought they were that easy.
Yeah, absolutely. Or their feeder country that they bought. Just a thought, Ruffy. It might be us. Anyway, just before we go, Phil, you're an agent. You've been it for a long time. John Viola in the business as well. Long associated with deals in Scotland and further afield. You guys are out at the Blytheswood at the end of the month, giving people an education on what it takes to become an agent. Yep.
It's an introduction event. It's based on some market research that's been done. We receive a lot of people asking, how did you get into it? How can I do it? I would love to have your job. Da, da, da. So basically just decided to put on an event where we can tell people how to start and then give them the pointers on where to go. It's one of the ones that, without making it overcomplicated, you know, it's maybe getting to people that avoid the pitfalls earlier rather than causing mistakes and different things in the game, you know. So we think it'll be a good event. It's 2 weeks away. It's good people coming. It's 20 years, more than 20 years worth of knowledge on show as such. And it's quite exciting, you know. There's all sorts of backgrounds I've booked on already. People from the professional football game. There's people from university backgrounds. It's an industry that people just seem to want to be involved in. Yeah. And that's hence the reason why we decided to do this.
Yeah, and you know, it's probably an event that's just come 40, 50 years too late for you, Ruffy, because how much were you earning a week?
My first Scotland-England game at Wembley in '76, I was on £40.
Yeah, it definitely has come too late for you, Ruffy. Thanks to Phil McTaggart. At Viola_FC if you want to contact Phil and get involved in that and find out more about it. Thanks to Phil for coming on. From Ruffy and myself, thanks for watching. Good night.